the thing that scares me about the Cowboys, not that they lost, they lost to a really good team. One they're going to get again week 14 and maybe, if we're lucky, in January as well. It's the same story, Michelle. It's that they mismanage all the little things that they can't stand to mismanage at the end of the games.
Yeah, for me, the Cowboys, the coverage is always crazy with the Cowboys, right? I mean, we start preseason, we start before preseason with expectations that seem to be always just a bit too high. And it starts in the house. It starts with Jerry Jones himself. That being said, this particular week, it's crazy to hear everyone speak of this as a good win. I've never heard such positive kumbaya vibes around a win. Like, if you didn't know any better, you'd think the Eagles lost, the way some of this has been talked about. And I get it. I think Dak Prescott, much like most quarterbacks, they get the blame and they get the credit. And in his particular case, there's been a lot of blame and there's a narrative that follows him around. Unfortunately for him, I think none of that goes away until, I'm not even saying you got to win the Super Bowl, dude. I'm saying you got to get to the Super Bowl. I think maybe that is when some of that negative stuff stops, but it's frustrating. And Cowboys fans it's one of the loudest, most passionate fan bases. Some would say sometimes delusional. And I think that's sort of where we are. I do a show on Sirius now, and my co-host even was just talking so positively. I'm like, hold on. Who won the game? I feel like we're giving out moral victories now. And so that's where we are with this Cowboys team. Expectations are high. When they fall short, we try to find ways, I guess, to say this one was a good win compared to some of their bad wins. Losing to the Cardinals, like, that's not something that you want to look back on. But I don't buy them. I haven't bought them ever, even though I grew up in Texas. It's just a team that I feel like lets you down in the end. Not since the 90s.
Dak always says the right thing about, like, yes. There's no other job. I love Dak, by the way. There's no other job I want, and this is what I'm built. Like, this is such an honor to have this job, and why would I ever criticize this job? I would love, though, to see it peeled back one of these days, to have him go, like, man, like, it is just tough out there. Like, no matter what I do, we could win by 50, and I'm going to turn on the TV the next day, and there's an entire industry. By the way, we're part of it.
Yeah.
An entire industry that has, we joke about the script, the narrative in hand, ready to say this if we win by 50 or this if we lose by 50. It's because it drives the beast. I mean, it drives the car. Mix all your metaphors all you want. Like, this pushes the story for the whole league for the whole week.
It really does. And it's crazy because you're right. He does say all the right things. I mean, I would not have that kind of grace under that kind of fire. But we don't talk about the other quarterbacks like him. We don't talk about Josh Allen if Josh Allen is struggling. And by the way, that being said, Dak didn't struggle. I mean, he threw
played a great game.
Something yards. He did what he was going to do. He just, because he's right, that star carries with it a different, whether it's realistic or not, a different set of expectations. And I do think he's wired for it. I don't think that everybody would be wired for that. I would love to give him a truth serum one day. Maybe when he's done, maybe some more truths would come out. But yeah, there got to be days where he's with just friends or family where he tells the truth and it must be frustrating.
Yeah. For all the guys that say, I'm off social media, I don't watch TV. If I were him, I would mean that. Like, I can't and I couldn't.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.